Hey guys, happy Friday. It is operations time again over here, and we're going to be doing a little bit of maintenance away work. So let's get fired up over here. You can see we are going to be taking the old SP out for a spin as I get her fired up here. And it's the new guy. Let's grab the new guy over here. We'll get him over here. Him and Engineer Rick are going to be taking maintenance away down, and we're going to be working on some track that we did some ballasting on. Now I know last time when I was, let me make sure my track is lined up here. Okay, yeah, last time I said I did a video on some ballasting over there at the other end of the yard that you can kind of just see off to the left there. And I was going to post that video, but it was pretty boring. I mean, it's ballasting track, you know? So I wanted to maintain a certain level of quality to my videos, I guess. And that one was just, I don't know, it was beyond boring. So I went ahead and I ballasted everything up. And we're going to run over there. I did a little bit of track cleaning, but we're taking the maintenance away over here. And we're taking the old, the SP here. And we're going to grab our maintenance of way gondola that's got all our stuff in it, and a caboose, run out there, and we're going to be pulling track nails. Of course, we didn't get a good connection there. Let's back it up again here. All right, there we go. It's got a good connection. Now I figured I would take the SP over here, even though we're running UP, just for the heck of it, because I've been watching it sitting there, and figured why not? We're gonna have a little bit of fun and enjoy the SP locomotive and caboose over here. You can see in the caboose or in the gondola, I should say, we got all our tools we need, or at least some of the tools. Got some Q-tips for cleaning. Got an X-Acto there for scraping some excess ballast out. And what else we got there? We got our tester, just in case we got to test the track. So we're all ready to go. We're going to run all the way around, and while he is out there running around, let's go take a closer look at the worst ballasting job I think I've ever done. And that's all of this stuff. So pretty much there's almost nothing that needs to get ballasted on the layout anymore. This was the last of it, was this yard right here, or at least this end of the yard here, I should say. And we got everything ballasted all the way out to the turnouts there. Now, if you look down there, the only thing that's not ballasted is just the turnouts right there from where they go underneath that little bridge or flyover down to here, because, well, two reasons. That is the hardest place for me to reach, and I didn't want to go digging in there to clean out the two turnouts, and that's right where the turnouts are, so I didn't want to screw around with that. And you can never see that anyway. I never look down there from this end or from the other, so they really didn't need to be ballasted. And the other thing is, if you recall, I'm going to be having like a little flyover over here someplace, which is going to block the view over there. Whoop, oh my goodness sakes. Hold on. I'm screwing up already. Look at this. So, of course, where are we going there, new guy? Holy smokes. Obviously, somebody did not normalize the turnouts from the last operating session, and we ended up running all the way down here. So let's back it up and get the heck back on the right train, rails. We'll get the right way, I should say. Anyway, yeah, I didn't want to ballast over there. Because, like I said, nobody's going to see it, and it doesn't matter, and I don't feel like reaching all the way in there and trying to clean out the turnouts. It's good enough just to get what I did get ballasted. Oh boy, yeah, we'll go all the way back over here, and I'm gonna change my turnouts. And this is kind of like a weird little video, huh? It's like operations, but not quite. All right, let's get that changed. Get that changed. Oy, oy, oy. Oh, by the way, speaking of getting stuff done on the layout over here, I have no idea. If you recall, last time this LED light underneath here was out. And it's back. I have no idea why. I don't know why. Nothing was unplugged. So go figure. Little gremlins like that. But then this end again, I don't know if they're related, but this end over here I think has got a little short or something, right? Right about there. There's a strip that runs sort of on the other side of the valance, whatever you want to call it here, that has got some sort of a little goofy short, and if I give it a little bit of twist there, you can see it kind of goes off and on. Anyway, let me check my track here. Yeah, everything looks good. So yeah, little weird electrical gremlins there, but only with the LEDs there. Speaking of, let's talk about lighting. That's what we can talk about. You know, every time I do a video here, I always kind of sometimes think about, you know, what can we talk about? And a lot of times I get ideas from, I had a little bit of an earthquake here. I gotta fix that. I get ideas from watching other videos. And one of the things I was watching was one of the guys was, you know, working on his layout and stuff. And he's kind of talking about lighting and things like that. And that's one of the things that I've discovered was lighting. How do you light your layout and whatnot? Especially like how do you light your backdrops, you know? And that is why I kind of settled on this sort of little 2-inch, I don't know what you want to call it, what it's called, valance, however you say that. Anyway, that's what I kind of settled on, and the whole point was here that I wanted to light the background, and but I didn't want the thing sticking way out here, you know, kind of, you know, creating like a little cubby hole down over here, and that's why it's only, you know, whatever, 5-6 inches depending on where you're looking there. And I have 2 LED light strips, one that points that way, so it's shining onto the backdrop, and then I have another LED, you know, that points down over here to kind of light up the background there. And then of course the rest of the lighting is all of my LED lights up here that hang down from the you know, from the ceiling. Anyway, but it was just kind of interesting, you know, you don't really think about the lighting of your layout, at least not when you're first starting, you know. It's one of those things that it's like, oh yeah, I got to kind of think about lighting and stuff like that. So just kind of interesting. Reminded me of that when I saw that I was having issues with my goofy strip lights there. All right, let's get to work over here. So what are we gonna do? Let's stop right there. I'm gonna make sure we're still powered up. We gotta go back to the other side because like I said, the only thing I've done over here is cleaned off some of the glue off of the top of the rails, you know? So the rails should all be clean. So I haven't run a train over here. I don't know if there's, you know, too much ballast, which there probably is. There's quite a bit. I kind of dumped it all over. I did a horrible job of ballasting right here, but basically I don't care because most of it's going to get not seen anyway. So there's a lot of ballast on top of the tracks here and everything. So don't judge me by this ballasting. This is just like I needed to get something thrown down over here. All right. Let's run the train through first. There we go. See, that was the other thing. I have those 2 turnouts over there where the train is sitting on, you know, what do you call it, little green machines there, whatever they are. And I didn't want to have to try to get into there and dig through there. Now I already know we probably, we probably gotta clean the rails a little bit more, and we probably gotta clean the inside edges a little bit, because there's quite a bit of ballast right there, especially right here, that will tend to lift the locomotive up. So we'll pull through here, and then I'm going to start pulling some nails and doing a little bit of cleaning. I'll show you how I do that. Very exciting stuff over here. Again, ballasting is sort of a strange little thing, sometimes it's like a necessary evil, I guess. A lot of people either love it or hate it, I guess. I don't know. I'm one of the haters. Okay, there we go. Let's see, where are we going to put the camera here so you can actually see something? So that's at least halfway entertaining here without looking at my big mug. So the way I do this, and again, I got to make sure you can see stuff here. Right there. Okay, so I do have nails that hold down the track into the foam, and then let's see here, I gotta back the train up a little bit. I guess we should go over here first. Let's go right here. We'll start right over here. I'm gonna hold the camera instead. And what I do is I come back in here, make sure you only touch one rail here, and grab those suckers, pull them out, drop them down into the train right there. So I'm gonna keep on doing this as we go, because now the track is all glued down, and I'll drop those in there. Actually, there we go. I'm going to keep doing that, but let's try to run the train here a little bit. They're going to make this video somehow interesting, because everything's all glued down. The other thing that I do, if I grab my X-Acto here, I could tell there's a piece of track right here. Where is it? Where there is just a ton of ballast, and it's all inside of the rail right here. See, so I'm just going to scrape that stuff out. I kind of go right along the edge of the rail and just kind of scrape some of that extra stuff off of there. I'll do that. Probably I got to kind of get in there. See, it's already really hard here. This is about as far as my reach is. And this one's probably a little bit dirty there, because that's why we stalled right there. Let's kind of get in there, get all that cleaned up. We might have stalled just because there's so much ballast right here that it's raising the, raising the wheels up. Now let's get that cleaned up. Oh yeah, I can see glue all over here on the tops of the turnout right there too. All right, and then come over here, we'll grab our trusty little vacuum, and I don't know how loud that was on the video there. Hopefully that wasn't too bad. All right, I'm gonna leave that right there. Let's try to run the train over the rest of the track and make sure we don't have any other problems. Oh, actually, you know what? While I'm here, I should try to clean a little bit of that glue. Don't freak out. It's just a very, very used sanding block, and I get in there, and at least for the first time, this helps get the glue off of the tops of the rails right there. I know a lot of times people, people treat the tops of their rails like, you gotta polish them and all this other stuff. Listen, I'm in a garage over here, and I get lots of dust, and well, to be honest, I've never had any trouble with you know, using a sanding block like that. Now again, it's very dull, so it's more of a, you know, more of a scrubbed, you know, plastic, you know, sponge that I'm using. Look at it, just barely caught the turnout right there. All right, let's go straight here and see how this track over here on the left is doing. Now this locomotive does have a current keeper, although I can see the light flicker in there a little bit, so I think I got to do a little bit more cleaning. A lot of times what I do is I'll just blow the horn like this. If I don't have a, you know, if I have a locomotive that's got a current keeper, I'm not going to find the dirty part of the track. But if I'm doing this, I can tell if I'm still getting a signal or not. So far, so good, right there. I don't think we'll have any problem here. Now I ballasted right up to the bridge right there. So the only other part that needs to get ballasted is just this bridge. Once I kind of settle onto it, and right about where that locomotive is right there, everything else is all good to go. All right, that seems good. I didn't feel any crunching or anything like that. You know, I didn't see the locomotive bouncing around on too much ballast. You know. Now the only other part we got to check is this line coming into the yard right here. So let's back up. I'll put the camera down. One little dead spot right there I could see. All right, now we'll flip the turnout and let's head down into the yard. And actually, while I'm sitting here, I can kind of give this a little scrape here. I could see this a couple of spots where they needed to be cleaned. Kind of hard to tell when you can't see the inside of the rail on the on this side here. All right, I'm gonna hit it with the vacuum here a little bit. Hold your ears. Yeah, it's kind of a different video here. Sort of operations, right? We're running a train at least. See a little bit of light flickering right there. And a little bit of goofy connectivity right there, but I think we're making it through. Let's see. I'll just run this down here. So far, so good. Not bad, not bad. All right, we're going to pause right there, or at least pause the locomotive, that is. I am going to continue pulling track nails. Ooh, see, we died right there. I think we are on a turnout right there. I might have to do another little drop right there. We just happen to be right there. Yep, there we go. I think we're in that nice little spot where it's perfectly situated, but you know what we can do, and this is what I do here. This is a good little spot to show you how I clean my points. So what I think is going on here is, well, this point right here isn't making a connection, right there, inside of this little spot. So the only connection that we need is this very tip right here and right here. So we want to make sure that it goes all the way, and yep, it's getting a nice solid connection, so nothing's in the way. We don't have a little bit of ballast here, but this may be a little bit dirty, or it might have gotten a little bit of glue on it. So we just need to do a little bit of cleaning. Now what I do is I take a Q-tip and, you know, use your favorite stuff. This is what I do. I use my airbrush cleaner, you know, from Tamiya. That stuff will pretty much clean anything. Let me situate that. I just dip it in there and get inside of the little tips right here. Get right inside of there and clean all that out right there. A lot of times, you know, when I'm building stuff, you can see there's a lot of crud in there, and most of it's just probably leftover paint, you know, that I'm picking up. Because I was going to say, because I paint the, you know, I spray paint the turnouts and the track and everything before I even lay it down. Or in this case, in the yard, I actually didn't do that, and I had to come back, which is why you kind of see a little bit of the, you know, dirtiness over here, I guess, you know, kind of on the rails, because I had to come back and spray paint it after the fact. But either way, I'm going to go in on both ends here and give this a good cleaning. And then what we'll do, we shall run the locomotive over it again, nice and slow. Let's see, I think it was like that. And let's see if that does any better here. Like I said, kind of a weird video, but you know, it's a maintenance away video kind of operating session. Prop that camera up a little bit. Oh my goodness sakes, all right. So far so good. Try to give it just like one notch. I think that did the trick right there. So just a little dirty point right there. And it looked like, from looking at the Q-tip, mostly paint. So just dirty old paint right there in the tips. And maybe a little bit of glue seeped into there, because it's right where we were kind of finishing up our ballasting. All right, well that's good. Let's hold right there. All right, I'm gonna get that out of the way. And like I was gonna say, I'm gonna keep on going over here and grabbing nails. I don't think there's too many nails right here, because this little section of the track was actually, had a little bit of a, I don't know, a little bit of a bow in it, you know what I mean? And so that's why I had to put all the weight on it over here until it kind of, the glue set up. So I didn't have too many nails right there. There's one right there. Let's get rid of that. Come on. All right, guys. Well, that's it for now. Kind of a goofy video, I know. Hopefully you found it at least a little bit entertaining. I'm going to keep pulling the rest of the nails out from all of the track over here that I can find, and give it a final vacuum and a final wipe down with, you know, if I need to, that is. And then we'll be ready to do some more operating here come next week. Guys, take care. Don't forget to hit the like button and the subscribe button, all that stuff. You know what to do. Otherwise, I'll see you later on. Have a good weekend, guys. Take care.